Hey there guys, Marine81 here. Today is going to be kind of an update video on my impressions on this Rock Island Armory 1911A1 Tactical, chambered in 45 ACP. If you don't know, I did a initial impressions video where I had just brought it home, kind of took it apart, looked at the internals, just try to get like an overall sort of feel for it to see, where it was at quality level. Compared to some of the more like higher end 1911s. And my initial impressions were pretty good. There were some little cosmetic things that could have been improved, but anybody who knows anything about these 1911s knows that they're reputation-wise very good, reliable shooters. You sacrifice a little bit on the fit and finish, but honestly, not really much. Not for a $500, $450, somewhere in that ballpark, 1911, depending on which model that you're looking at. This one in particular, after taxes, I paid $512, which was reasonable in my book. I was willing to shell that out. Now, before I took this out shooting, the only thing that I did to it was I completely disassembled the firearm. Totally broke it down to its individual components. Cleaned all of the oil that was already on there off of it, all the components, and then, as you probably know if you follow my channel at all, I am a huge advocate of frog lube. Frog lubed everything out, anything that had little burrs on it or that was rough. I did take some either quad-aught steel wool or some Flitz metal polish and a buffing tool on my Dremel, and kind of sanded everything. Not sanded, that sounds like I'm taking material off, but you get the idea. I just kind of like cleaned it up a little bit, frog lubed everything, reassembled it, and took it out shooting. Now granted, I did not put a whole lot of rounds through it when I did take it out shooting. I only put 100 rounds through it, just a couple boxes. Primarily because I only had the one ACT mag that came with it, and it was really irritating. It's a huge pet peeve of mine of constantly having to reload your magazines because you don't have a bunch of them, because I have some on order, some Chip McCormick's, and I don't have them yet. So when I did go out, I only had this one magazine with me, and being that it's an 8-round magazine because it's a 1911, that was a lot of reloading, and it was a huge pain in the ass. So after 2 boxes, I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm done for the day. I'll just wait till I get my extra mags. Wow. Okay. Now that you know all that, 100 rounds. The only other thing that I do want to tell you is that I did also polish the area here on the barrel, this exposed. They already had this came already polished like this, but I just kind of went over it again because it was kind of like a half-assed job, really. I did not polish the front. I'm debating on whether or not I'm just going to do the whole damn barrel, just for smoothness of operation wise. The other thing that I did polish was, again, it was already polished. If you already know my initial impressions video, the throat of the barrel and the feed ramp were already polished. I went over that again. And as I said, frog lubed everything and took it out, put 100 rounds through it. It did really well for that first 100 rounds. Which was surprising. I didn't really expect a whole lot out of it, just because if you know 1911s, you know that especially once you start getting up in the higher ends that have like really, really tight tolerances, their break-in periods can be a freaking nightmare. You sometimes can sit there and want to beat your head against the wall trying to get the thing to loosen up enough to where they're reliable. It's not uncommon for some of those real high-end ones. If you're talking about, say, like, Ed Brown or Nighthawk Custom or something like that, you might have to put 1,000 rounds through that sucker to get it to the point where it is completely reliable. Now, per Rock Island Armory, they say that you need to put 500 through this. So I still got 400 to go before I'm at that quote-unquote factory break-in period, or past that threshold. Now, the only thing that I did have as far as hiccups are concerned were magazine-related issues, where it wasn't feeding properly. Now, these are ACT mags that come with it, and people are kind of torn between these. You'll hear one person say that they have real good luck with them, that they're high quality, and just through the feel of them, they do seem like they're relatively good quality magazines. You know, the follower is anti-tilt. You know, they've got good detention. I don't know if my feeding issues were just due to the fact that this was brand new, or what, or that you get the other side of the fence on these and that people hate them and they say that they're crap. I do know that Chip McCormick's are good quality magazines. I personally have never had any kind of problems with them, and if you ask most people, they will tell you the same thing, that they are good quality magazines. So that's what I am going to run with this. But I don't know. We'll see after I get those and get a few more rounds through this if that smooths that problem out with the feeding issues. But beyond that, that's all I had. And I think total out of the 100 rounds, I had I don't remember the exact count, but I want to say probably 8 failures to feed. And what the problem was is, let me grab a couple rounds here and I'll show you exactly what was going on. What would happen was when the weapon would cycle and it would feed around in, the following round would get kicked forward like this. Not that far, but it would get kicked forward enough to where when the slide would come back, it essentially would be, it would think that there wasn't a round in there, so it would go into slide lock. So a lot of times what I'd have to do is I'd be sitting there firing and the slide would lock back, and I know I would have more rounds in there. Tote it up, look, and it would be sitting in there like this. So I'd have to hit the slide release or power stroke it to finish throwing it into battery, and it was fine. So, I'm kind of just chalking that up to magazine issues. At least I'm hoping that's what it is, and we'll find out once I get the better mags. But beyond that, like I said, it didn't have any bit of problems at all. So I'm at least for right now, I'm chalking that up to a magazine issue. The frog lube, as always, worked perfectly. I broke it apart. It cleaned off, in a cinch. No problems there. Let me see, anything else that I'm missing on this? One thing I will hit Rock Island on is, granted, yet this is parkerized, but this parkerized finish is shit. Pardon my language, but it is. It comes off way too easy. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to Duracoat this. I already had this kind of in mind, but I'm going to Duracoat the bottom in like an olive drab. Leave the slide black, all the controls black, and I've got some VZ grips that I'm putting on this here soon. So that won't be as much of an issue with it being not durable at all. But I mean, because there's probably, I don't even know if the camera can pick this up. Like, you can see one right there. There's a little nick. There's a little nick here. There's a little scratch running along the top of the barrel, or the slide rather. I don't think there was any others. Yeah, there wasn't any other nicks, but I thought that was kind of stupid. That the fact that I've had this in a nylon holster and only put 100 rounds through it, sitting at an indoor range, and somehow or another I got nicks in the slide. But whatever, it can be fixed. And these aren't meant to be trophy guns anyways. They're users. But okay, enough babbling. There you have it. If you guys got any questions about these things, overall, so far, I will say I am extremely impressed with this, quality-wise, for the money, though. I'm, again, chalking up any of the problems to the fact that it's just going through its break-in period. Might just be this ACT mag. But there you go. As always, thanks for watching, guys. You got any questions, let me know. I'll certainly answer them for you. And have a good one.